الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلوات والسلام على رسول الله أما بعد. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Without further ado, here are our letters in the Arabic alphabet. As we mentioned, there are 28 letters, but the Arabs, of course, they added the Hamza, making it 29 letters. And you'll notice I have some additions here. Now, what people normally start off with by calling an alif is actually a hamza. This is not an alif. We're actually going to take the alif. It's going to be all the way over here. This is a hamza. But if you wanted to recite your alphabet and you wanted to say alif, ba, ta, tha, there's nothing wrong with that. But just know that this is actually a hamza. And the hamza, when it comes on top of what looks like an alif, it is actually a hamza alone. It is not an alif and a hamza. It is just a hamza. Same thing for what looks like a waw. If the hamza comes on top, we're going to pronounce the hamza. If it comes on top of what looks like a ya, we're going to pronounce the hamza. A, I, U, A, I, U, A, I, U. We treat them like they're the same exact letter in our qira'ah. In other qira'ahs, they do other things with them. Okay, so this is the hamza. It makes the A, I, U, sama sound. Okay? Then we have the ba, all right? Ba, pretty simple. Ba, bi, bu, ab, ab. When we want to stop on it, we do something called a qalqala. Ab, because otherwise you wouldn't hear it. It would just sound like ab. But we're going to learn that later. After our ba, we have our ta, and it is ta, not ta with your teeth, but ta with your tongue on the back of your teeth. Ta, tu, ti. Again, not ta, tu, ti. Ta, tu, ti, at, at. And we do something called hams with this one. When we want to stop on it, we let out a little bit of air. We say at, so people can hear it. Otherwise, you wouldn't hear the ta, at. But again, we're going to take that later in our tajweed lessons. Next, we have the tha, tha, tha. You want to put your tongue under your top teeth, and you want to push out air. Tha, thu, thi, ath. Okay, I hope that one is simple. The jim, jim, not jim. There's no G in Arabic. It is G, the same way we say our G in English. That is how you're going to say this. Ja, ju, G, ajah, ajah, ajah. And we do something called qalqala when we want to stop on this jim. Next, we have a ha. And when I spell it, I put a little dot under the H, so you know it's not like the English H where it's just ha, ha. It's ha, ha. One trick I teach my students to say this is act like you want to clean your screen on your phone, or if you're in the car, you want to blow, your breath on the window. What do? You say that. What you just did is the ha. But the ha is just a little sharper than that. We say ha, hu, hi, ah, ah. Okay, that is the ha. Next we have the kha, kha, and I put a dot under the K. It's not like the regular English. Kha, kha, khu, khi. And this kha is a heavy letter. We say kha, Khalid, not Khalid. But again, we're going to talk about that in our tajweed. Excuse me. Next, we have a dal. We have a dal. And we say da, do, di, ad, ad. And we do something called qalqal on this letter when we want to stop on it, but we're going to take that later. Next, we have what looks like a dal with a dot on top. A dhal, dhal. Here we want to vibrate the same way you say that or those in English. This is the dhal. That is the dhal's job to vibrate. We say the, thu, the, as. Next we have the ra. The ra is a heavy letter. Ra. We say ra, ru, ri. And when we want to stop on it, we say ar, not ar. Do not roll your ra. but we're going to talk about that later in our tajweed. Next, we have the za. Z. Simply put your teeth on top of each other like you're smiling. Allow your top teeth to meet your bottom teeth and vibrate. Za, zu, z. The same way you say the letter Z in English, or the same way you say going to the zoo, is how we're going to say za. So if you've never taken your letters before, I highly suggest that you stop here. You take these, you write them down in your notes, you study them using the Quizlet that we have, Ahl al-Quran, search up Ahl al-Quran on Quizlet, and just learn these before moving on to the next ones. If you know your letters before, you can continue, or if you feel like you know those and you're coming back to this video, then you can continue. Okay, next we have the Seen. Seen, and there's a letter that whistles. Seen, sa, su, si, s, s, and that is our seen, similar to our s in English. Next we have a sheen. Sheen, it's like saying sh in English. Sha, shu, she, ash. Pretty simple. Next we have a sod. A sod, similar to the seen. It's actually from the same makhraj, the same place, but it's heavier. We don't say sa, we say saw here. Saw, su, sli, else. But again, it's very similar. This is the trickiest letter. This is, what the Arabic language is called is lughat al-dad, the language of the dad. No other language has this letter. So be sure to give it some extra attention, as a lot of people make mistakes with this letter in their Fatiha. We say ba, ba, ba. We're going to cover it in detail in our tajweed lessons bi'idhnillah when we start speaking about makharij, about the dad. There's actually an entire lesson prepared just for the dad. We say da, da, and it's hard to explain without going into the tajweed lesson, so you're just going to have to wait till we get there. If you know how to say it naturally, that is good. Just try your best to make a heavy version of a dal, if you will, even though they're very different. Da, do, di, al, or like we say in our Fatiha, walal da, walal da. You need to charge it up, as we like to say. Dad, and I put a dot under the dal, the D, because it's not the same. Same thing with the S. Next we have ta, ta, and I didn't really know how to spell it in English, so I just did my best attempt. I put a T with a dot under it, but it's ta, 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 tu, ti, alto, ta, tu, ti, alto. That is a ta. We also do qalqal on it when we want to stop, and it is a heavy letter. Next we have the dha, similar to the dhal, but it's heavier. Dha, dhu, dhi, elv, that is our dha. Next we have our ayn, ayn, u, ri, after it, and this is of course a unique letter to the Arabic language, but everyone is able to learn it regardless of where you're from or what language you speak. Just keep practicing and listening to it, and when we learn its makhraj, where it comes out from, and learn its details, it would be easier to say. Next is the ghain, like you're gargling water. Ghain, gha, ghu, ghi, el, and it is another heavy letter, but we'll discuss that later. Gha, ghu, ghi, el. And next we have the fa, similar to the F in English. Fa. And we say fa, fu, fi, f. Next we have the qaf, we say qa, qu, qi, aqo. It is a heavy letter, and we do qalqala on it when we want to stop. Qaf. Again, you should stop there if this is your first time taking your letters, and just take these all at one time, and when you're ready you can come back to continue. Next we have the kaf. We say ka, ku, ki, ek. When you want to stop, you have to let out air to to show the kaf, similar to the English K. Next we have the lam, similar to the English L, la, lu, li, el. Very simple. Same thing with the meme, similar to the M in English, ma, mu, mi, m, m. Nothing too hard there. Same thing for the noon, na, nu, ni, n, similar to the N in English. Now we have a wow, wa, woo, we, ow, wa, woo, we, ow. And also, ooh, because this is one of our harf meds, as we're going to see, has another job, special letter. Next we have the ha. We have the ha, ha, who, he, ah. Same way you say who in English, that is your ha, ah. Next we have the alif. And if anyone ever tells you to say the alif, you tell them la. La as in no, I don't want to say the alif, because you can't say the alif alone. You cannot say it alone. Or when you're telling them la, you actually are saying an alif in that statement, la, because the extension is what the alif is. When you say ba, bu, bi, we can't say alif is for arnab. That doesn't make sense. The hamza is for arnab, but the alif is an extension. Ba, ra, sa, ba. It extends, and that is the job of the alif. We use the lam here to assist in saying the alif. Otherwise, we cannot say the alif alone. The alif is a second letter, and as we're going to learn, you cannot say second letters on their own. So this is the alif. The only reason we have the lam there again is to help it. Why did they pick the lam specifically? They said with the hamzat wasl, which looks like an alif, helped the lam in lam at-ta'rif, alif lam. So the lam came to help the alif back. Anyways, next we have, and finally we have the ya, ya, you, ye, a. And also there's a special letter. We use it for our harf med. We say e, b, ri, the same way we said about our wow. And actually the wow, the alif, and the ya all could be harf med, but they're not always harf med. Again, we'll talk about that when we get to it. Okay, and finally, something that you're going to see very commonly in the Quran. I put this here just so you know what it is now to get it out of the way. And this is how we're ending our video today. It's very crucial to understand what this is. Now, this is called a hamzat wasl. When you see that sign on top of it, that means it's a hamzat wasl. It's not a hamza, it's not an alif, it's a hamzat wasl. What does wasl mean? Wasl literally means to connect, okay, to connect. And we actually use this to connect when we need it, because second letters, we cannot say them by themselves. Therefore, we need to use this to give us a vowel. We're going to talk about second letters in upcoming episodes, inshallah. So, for example, a very famous thing that we all know, the name of Allah is actually spelled with a hamzat wasl, not a regular hamza. So we say Allah, Allah. But if I asked any one of you guys to swear, what would you say? You would say Wallah, Wallah. You would skip this hamzat wasl. You'd actually take it out and say Wallah. And that's what the hamzat wasl's job is. It is there to serve the purpose of, if you want to begin with this word, you say Allah. But if you're continuing from whatever came before, you would say Wallah. And this is true with any hamzat wasl. It is in that fashion. We actually have an entire class on the hamzat wasl to see, okay, does it sound like a hamza with a fatha, kasra, or dhamma? How am I supposed to know? We're going to cover that in our tajweed, inshallah. But just so you know, that is a hamzat wasl. So when you see it in the Quran, now you're going to know what it is. Barakallahu feekum. Make sure you guys write these down in your notes and use the Quizlet for help studying. Do not move forward until you get these down 100%. What I'm going to do now to make sure that you do have it 100%, and if you don't think you have it, then pause this video and come back. We're going to take a little brief test, if you will. All I'm going to do is highlight a letter, and you're going to tell me what that letter is. Even though the English is underneath it, that's fine. So I want you to, when I highlight it, you have to say it before I say it. If I say it first, then you fail the test, and you have to go back and keep studying. Okay, without further ado. Ha. Sheen. غين ميم ثا با ثا. Okay, we're going to go a little bit faster before we end the video. طا خا ذال لام كاف واو سين ظا جيم همزة تا همزة حا را همزة لام ألف or ألف, whatever you said is fine. صاد ضاد نون دال يا قاف را همزة وصل عين. If you got through all of that and you said all of them before I said them, then you are very good and you are ready to move on to the next lesson. بارك الله فيكم. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.